Hey, it's LP Flowers, and we're gonna do the one thing that I always say that I love to do today: blow shit up. Today, we're gonna have an in-depth look at Bomberman Hero. We're gonna see what makes this game tick and why I love it so much. I rented it once as a child, and then I ended up finding it again as an adult, and I got to play it a little bit longer. But today, we're gonna go in-depth to see why this game is so amazing. This is the review. Check it out. Here we go. LP Flowers, Bomberman.
Bomberman Hero. If you've seen my Crackdown review, you know how much I love to blow shit up. Bomberman Hero is no exception. If you are familiar with any of the Bomberman games, you know that the main character lives up to his name. Usually, the goal is to blow up everything that moves except for yourself. This Nintendo 64 game adds a twist by including a narrative and changing up the gameplay a little bit from what we are used to. Usually, you are limited to smaller arena-style levels and Bomberman is only able to walk. Here, in Bomberman Hero, you are much more mobile. You can jump, climb, and throw the bombs instead of just pooping them out like the other games. Come on. You can't tell me those aren't coming out of his butt. Gross. So, the story itself seems to draw inspiration from the wholly original Star Wars trilogy. It starts with the princess getting captured by a bad guy, and in her last effort, passes a message through her robot. Sound familiar?
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
So before you get into the action, you navigate through a small tutorial area to learn the basics of the controls. You know, how to get around. It also teaches you how to use your best and only weapon, the bomb. You can throw it overhand, drop it, kick it once it's dropped, and use a technique called the rolling bomb, allowing you to throw up to 4 bombs at once. When we are first introduced to the White Bomber... What? Stop looking at me like that. I didn't make his name up. So anyway, when we were first introduced to the White Bomberman, he is in the middle of a grueling training to prove himself as a worthy warrior. As soon as training is finished, our protagonist is immediately thrown to the wolves when there is word of a crashed UFO. After your trial by fire, you finally meet the robot and receive the message about the princess being captured. Now don't go looking for a happy ending just yet, because almost every time you catch up with the princess, she's taken away to another planet. Good luck. Altogether, there are about 5 worlds with about 3 areas and multiple stages in the areas. This game is thick with content. Not to mention, there are secret levels and worlds as well. Alright, let's talk about the gameplay some more. Bomberman Hero has a healthy amount of variety. And you know, I'm all about variety, baby. So, the levels kind of stick to their arena format, but in a 3D kind of way. A lot of the levels have multiple tiers and it's impossible to ignore that there's platforming. Like, a lot of platforming. I hate platforming. Alright. Before I continue, I want to talk about the Power Gear. It's a multi-purpose tool that can transform into different vehicles. This is where the game gets really interesting. What I love are these parts, the vehicle segments. They break up the gameplay a little bit, keep things fresh. Alright, so first, let's talk about the Bomber Marine. It's like your vehicle for underwater missions. It's kind of funny how it attaches to his legs like that. Here, the bomber uses his bombs like torpedoes, and it kind of works like an on-rails shooter a little bit. You are allowed to move in reverse though. I have bad depth perception, so I'm really bad at these parts. The bomber jet pretty much works the same, but you're flying instead of swimming. Still pretty embarrassing for me. The bomber copter is just like the name. It's like you're flying a helicopter and you're dropping bombs from overhead. Takes a bit of practice to land your shots while avoiding trouble, but I didn't do too bad at it. At least not until I got to the boss battle that required me to be even more precise. I got my ass kicked. The last of the power gear is the bomber slider. It's basically a giant mechanical snowboard, and there is no way to throw bombs with this one. There is a jumping, spinning attack in its place. Speaking of variety, I love the way the levels are set up in general. Usually, the mission is simple. Make your way to the exit and don't die. But there are other variations of the stages and goals as well. One other type of level has you collect 4 crystals to open the exit door. On later planets, this objective can be pretty annoying because the crystals aren't hidden in plain sight. Some levels I had to go over multiple times to find every single one of them. In some stages, you collect key cards to operate the exit door. Hey, check this out. I like this one stage on the second world because the door is a creature with a goofy face. You have to blow it up to get past it. It's not really a big deal, I know, but it was so quirky I couldn't help but to mention it. Okay, so the third planet has a few levels where your health depletes constantly because it's so hot. It's like you're in a volcano, and you have to step into these cooling stations in order to get your health back. I died a lot on this world. One thing I do love about it, however, is when you step into the cooling stations, Bomberman starts smiling, and it's pretty cute. Oh, look at that face. The part that I really love though, is when you get to ride a Louie. This adorable cat bunny kangaroo that is seen on previous entries. They're adorable. Okay, let's get back to the bombs, because I love bombs. You can only throw 1 bomb out at a time until you collect the bomb pickups. Then you can carry up to 4 at a time. Collecting a flame icon upgrades the blast radius of your bomb. There are 4 levels of upgrades, and the final upgrade sounds and looks intense. I love it. Blowing shit up. On some levels, you have variations of bombs, such as the salt bomb. It is the only way to kill the slug enemies, and there is also a freeze bomb on some levels that help you get past obstacles by freezing your enemies and climbing on them. This game is already pretty challenging, but the bosses are where I really got stuck. Some of the boss battles are manageable, but I must add that you have to keep your power-ups or it will become way harder than it needs to be. Nitros is the main villain's right hand, and he's a pain in the butt. You fight him at least once per planet until he's defeated the last time. That's when you discover he was under mind control and you broke him free of it. When Nitros is not challenging you, you have to fight the main villain's minions, also known as the 4 Devils of Garradin. Alright, I don't really know how to pronounce the names of the villains, so I'm gonna try my best. Bear with me, please. The first boss you fight is Endol, a colorful fish-like creature that will electrocute you. He's probably the easiest to take out. All you have to do is dodge his electric blast and bomb him in the face. He doesn't move from his center platform until you are about to defeat him. Then he will try to shoot you with these electric balls, but he still doesn't move too much. Second, you fight Baruda. If you have any problems with depth perception, you'll have some issues dropping bombs from overhead. Sometimes, it's hard to see him increase his altitude as well, but also, like me, you'll get him sooner than later. On the next world, you deal with a Sphinx lion named Bomberman, while Princess Million does her best Princess Leia impersonation. Bomberman is a pain in the ass. To cause damage, you have to bomb the jewel on his head. After you hit him, the first time or a couple times, He spawns a shield in front of him, forcing you to hit him in the tail. Once you hit him enough times in the tail, his shield goes down and you can attack his front again. But either way, it requires precision, and it's very annoying. After you finally defeat Bomberman, you play through another world where you end with the devils Natia and Cronus. This fight was also a nightmare. Cronus is the biggest pain because he's a spider-like robot that fires multiple homing missiles, and it may take a little while to figure out how to dodge them. While you're dodging them, Natia is there, and many times when I tried to dodge the missiles, I ran into her, causing me to lose health or die. He also fires a laser. Once you take him out, you fight Natia, which is not too difficult. She fights like a moron. She uses a whip when you get close to her, and when you're far away, she tries to run towards you, and as she's running, you can just throw a bomb at her face. Now, she also throws knives, but they're very easy to dodge, so she's not too difficult. Once you beat the stupid robot, the boss battle is pretty much won. Now, when you get to the final destination that is reminiscent of the Death Star, you fight all of the bosses all over again in an ongoing gauntlet, but at least they're separated between levels. Now, they're not too difficult to beat, but once you get past them, you get to the final boss. The villain with the most inconsistent name ever. The funny thing about the final boss fight is it's not too difficult. It just feels like running a marathon. He has about 4 phases that you have to defeat, and once you do, you're finished. In my opinion, Bomberman Hero is a challenging game, but you won't be losing any of your hair over it. You know, I can't finish this review before talking about the soundtrack. This is easily my favorite N64 OST. OST? What the hell is OST? This is probably my favorite OST of all time. The composer put in work, and it shows. A lot of it ages really well too, as it has the lo-fi hip-hop sound that is really popular now. If you have time, go on YouTube and look it up. That was Bomberman Hero, baby. Until next time, give me a like and subscribe, baby.
So that was Bomberman Hero on the Genesis. It's not on the Genesis. On the Nintendo 64. That was the review. I'm out of here. I ran out of things to say. Yeah. Like and subscribe. See ya.